weight basis. The bigger horsepower you have or the lighter the car, the higher up the ladder you will be. It's a handicap start. That is, an index will be dialed in. The slower car gets the head start. The faster car will try to catch up. There are even some front-wheel drive cars in this category. A red light start in last year's final put Ray Grice out of competition, enabled Richard Kincaid, an insurance salesman from Ohio, to win the U.S. Nationals the first time he ever raced here at the Big Go. Superstock really is an exciting category. It features a variety of foreign and domestic cars. The basic game plan here is a factory-produced automobile. The factories had to make at least 50 units, although in their wildest imagination, they never figured when these cars rolled out of the showroom, they'd be running 150 miles an hour. This is a horsepower to weight factor. The factors range from as low as 6 pounds per horsepower all the way up to 18 pounds. There are some V6s in this class. Wheel stands abound with a lot of power being transferred to the rear wheels. Like stock, it's a handicap category. Slower car gets the head start. Faster car tries to catch him. Peter Biondo in the far lane, celebrating his 95 U.S. Nationals win over Lincoln Moorhead. Competition eliminator categories is as close to a professional class as you're going to get, but still be called sportsman. There are 42 different classes of cars that are eligible, even Jeep-powered machines like this one of 95 U.S. Nationals finalist Garth Hill. Glenn Treadwell is running an Alders. It's a single 4-barrel small block machine. Full-bodied cars, Alders, Roadsters, supercharged machines, injected, even some fuel-burning cars all run in this category. It's a handicap class like stock and super stock, only in this category, you can run as quick as you want at the other end of the racetrack. There is no disqualification for running quicker than the index or the handicap in your particular category. Comp features some very fast cars, but you don't have to be fast or the fastest to get the win. Ironically, you do need to get a green light. And like two of our other eliminators in 95, Garth Hill fouled out. Glenn Treadwell gets the win, his first ever at the U.S. Nationals. National event until this race. He's here by himself. He's in the finals against a guy that might be the best driver in drag racing.
You see the tree working its magic, and we're underway.
Scotty Richardson has a slight reaction time advantage off the line. But you can see Keiko's giving him all he's worth.
And the win light will go to Scotty Richardson, an 11.0 at 106 miles an hour to a losing 11.4 at 115. So Scotty Richardson, you betcha you are a U.S. Nationals champion, Scotty, to go along with a whole host of other championship crowns. So Superstock will be the next pair that we get to see. Mike Say going up against Mike Paisley. Who's your pick here, oh great guru?
Well, it's interesting. Mike Say's a former Winston champion. Mike Pistelli over there on the far lane, the right side of the track, built both of these race cars. Mike Say needed a good race car. He went to Pistelli and he said, hey, put one together for me. They're the same class. It's a heads-up category. First one to the finish line gets the win.
Of course, heads-up means the lights go down at the same time.
Exactly,
just like in the pro
categories.
One car in, both cars in, we're set to go.
Mike Say was a 4-time national.
Red light, it's over. The win goes to Mike Say. He will be the U.S. Nationals champion in Superstock.
And what a tough way to give it away, Ralph. At the last round of the U.S. Nationals to give it away on a red light, we know he's pretty disappointed.
So Mike Say, a 10.04, 132 mile an hour pass. Doesn't matter anyway. The red light lit, and he would get the championship win one way or the other. We're not done yet. We've got more sportsman racing for you, including the finals here at the U.S. Nationals in Super Gas. And this is one of the categories I get a big kick out of watching. One of the most entertaining classes, I think, in the sportsman division.
This is a very entertaining class. We have Shane Gay, who is from Texas. His father, of course, is one of the owner-operators of the Houston Raceway Park down there. And Shane has been around this sport for a long time, coming from a great family of racers.
And he's going to go up against Bonnie Mills, one of the female racers who's having a good weekend here. Bob, I got to go with Shane Gay since he's been pitted right near the compound. How do you see it?
Bonnie's tough. She's won national events in Super Gas and Super Comp. It must be like old timers week. We got Schumacher, his dad won here, and we got the Gay kid, and his dad, of course, used to be one of the big match racers in the early days of funny cars.
That's why I love the class, because they always go sky high when the lights go green, and Bonnie's got a great jump. And the win is going to go to Shane Gay. The index plays out, and Shane Gay will get the win and will become the U.S. Nationals champion at 991, 158 miles an hour. Well, we've got more sportsmen.
In the far lane, Dan Cook, a beautiful purple Camaro, late model 1970s vintage. You can see how carefully those drivers are backing up. Their crewmen backing them down. Now, Jeff Miller does what they call a dry hop or burp to the starting line, checking to see if those tires are sticking. And as you can see from the front end of that car rising up, he has gobs of traction. They'll stage up very carefully on the starting line here at Norwalk Raceway Park. We're located just about halfway between Cleveland and Toledo, Ohio, for this Parts Plus Super Chevy event. Wheels up start for Jeff Miller. The big supercharged 69 Camaro is on a run. It'll be a one-man contest. Miller, 8 seconds flat, 178 miles per hour. 78 miles an hour. Our next pair coming up, an unusual car. This is a 1968 Chevrolet Camaro of John Banks. He's from Lynchburg, Virginia. And here's a very unusual car, a nostalgia car. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 1938 Hudson, powered by a 96 Chevy, 524 cubic inches, and capably piloted by Kevin Vanderbeck from Hawthorne, New Jersey. The Hudson has problems right off the starting line. That'll make it easy going for Ed Parker. Parker with a great pass in that Camaro. 867, 154 miles per hour. He sets the pace for the others to follow. And those others will be this man, John Banks. His opponent, the 1973 Corvette of Frank Doolan. He calls himself Frankie D. Now, meanwhile, we'll watch as Banks' crew chief backs him up ever so carefully in that potent, beautiful Marina Blue Camaro. The idea to get him right down in those same tracks of rubber he just laid down during that burnout. Taking a look now at Frank Doolan as he'll stage the Mansfield, Ohio-based 1973 Corvette ever so carefully. That net you see in the window is a safety net in the event that a window glass were to be broken out. It hopefully would keep the driver inside the car. Doolan out of shape now is forced to shut it down, but John Banks is on a romp. 807, 182 miles per hour, and ladies and gentlemen, these cars are street legal. Here comes Bill Greeley. He calls himself Wild Bill Greeley against this man, Ross Stomp. Stomp, who's been having a great season so far on the Parts Plus Super Chevy Show with his 1941 Willys Coupe that, once again, I'll remind you, is perfectly street legal, right down to the power windows and the power door locks. Looking into the driver's compartment now, you can see Bill Greeley as he'll begin staging that Camaro very carefully. Traction utmost important for these drivers because look at the tire. They must run tread type DOT, that stands for Department of Transportation, approved tires. The green light start. Wheels up now for Bill Greeley. Here comes Ross Stomp. Look at that 1941 Willys fly across the finish line. 834, 168 miles per hour, and the crowd loves that car. That concludes our first round of semifinal round of Super Street competition. You're looking at the blown 1969 Chevrolet Camaro of Jeff Miller from Midland, Virginia, as he does an extra long burnout, and his opponent, the beautiful 1938 Hudson of Kevin Vanderbeck from Hawthorne, New Jersey. Gorgeous turned out car, flames on the front end of it, and you would never guess that this car has a supercharger because they managed to get the engine, the blower, the hat, and the injectors under the stock hood of that 1938 Hudson. Big top fuel wing on the back of it as his crew chief motions him into the pre-stage beams. Then he'll let Kevin do the final staging process himself. Meanwhile, on the other side of the track, Jeff Miller stages up that gorgeous 69 blown Camaro. 2 supercharged cars blown on alcohol, limited under IHRA rules to 526 cubic inches. They're off and running. Good, nearly equal starting line reaction time. It'll be Jeff Miller with an 8:27 at just under 180 miles per hour. This is Ross Stomp from Waterford, Michigan, the 41 Willys Coupe that's such a crowd favorite here with a big high top fuel wing on the back of it. And his opponent will be John Banks from Lynchburg, Virginia. 1968 Camaro with 706 cubic inches of rat motor injected on nitrous oxide. As we watch Ross Stomp staging that 41 Willys, he's waiting now on Banks, who is not near the stage beams yet. The starter will motion him in. Banks still not moving. Now finally he rolls in toward those stage beams. Meanwhile, Stomp was ready with that Willys. Both cars are staged up. Good green light start. Ross Stomp, good jump off the starting line as he was first to leave. But here comes John Banks. Yes, 797, 183 miles per hour. He sends the Willys packing. When we come back, we'll breathing life into the big 526 cubic inch Chevrolet is our finalist in the Super Street Shootout. This is Jeff Miller's gorgeous 69 Camaro. And folks, it'll be an all Camaro final. Here comes John Banks, 1968 Camaro. Now you can see clearly that Banks stopped Ross Stomp's 41 Willys, and Miller moved to the final by defeating that gorgeous Hudson of Vanderbeck.
He's going to be riding.
Both cars are pre-staged and ready to go, an all Camaro final. A blown car against a nitrous-injected car, just the way we like to see it happen here in the Super Street Final. 3,000-pound minimum weight, at least 50% of the weight must be on the front end of these cars, and they must be street legal. Look at the wheel stand in the far lane for Jeff Miller, but here comes John Banks. Does he have enough? Very close race. Jeff Miller, 8 seconds flat, 178 miles per hour to pick up the championship here today at Norwalk Raceway Park. Our Pro Modified final, well, Bill Neary stopped Freddie Hahn, Jeff Brozovich over Brian Game to move in and set up this great final. And they're burning out right now. Bill Neary, the professional contractor, with his prosecutor car over Jeff Brozovich, the Bros from Ankeny, Iowa, with the 34 Chevrolet. Meanwhile, Bill Stevens has our Super Street winner.
It was a good run. We were surprised, or I was surprised that it hooked in the right lane. The last run was spun real bad, but I just crawled on it real easy out the gate and stood up, and I pulled second and skated a little bit, but it went on through pretty good. I was surprised it did it, but did real well.
Here we go, Jeff.
Pro Mods ready to go. Jeff Brozovich in the near lane, Bill Neary in the far lane. Give the advantage off the starting line to Jeff Brozovich. Neary, with a horrible 8:01 reaction time, has almost handed this race to the Bros. His time, 6:68, 204 miles.